Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make these lovely pendants. I started out with these two here and did like a 5-sided pentagon shape. And I'll just show you the back. There's the back. But I wasn't really satisfied with the shape, so I thought, let me try doing it with 6 shapes. It still is very geometric on the edges. We could, do some embellishment around the edges, but to start with, we're going to start with this lovely design. So let's just take a closer look. So here's, again, the blue and white one. That turned out really nice. And then this one here was supposed to be like a sunflower look, but I felt like the 14 millimeter Swarovski rivoli was a bit dark, despite the fact that I really like that color, like a dark topaz. I just felt it was too dark. It's still pretty lovely. So let's take a look at this one here. So we'll put these aside. And I should say too, these go really well with the twisted herringbone rope that I did in another video. And for this one here, I had put one of these Pandora beads on. So you actually can't, that looks like it stops right there. I put these clasps on, and the idea being, that one's stuck on there. I'll have to fix that. That you could slide whatever pendant you have, as long as it has a big bail on it. And these are just really inexpensive bails that I got on AliExpress years and years ago. I have to look for some different bails now that I've been doing a few pendants. So this one, you can see this one slides off really nicely. These open up too, like that, and then it slides right off. So this is what that looks like. So let's get to the supplies and get started. This is a long video because we're going to do start to finish on this design. And hopefully that will kind of cement it in your idea of what we're doing, because it is a bit complicated. And let's enlarge this. Maybe not that much right now. And make sure I didn't lose any of my 3 millimeter bicones. So I just have this here as a kind of a sample for an idea about using the copper color beads and the gold together. So I'm going to think about that as we're going. We'll maybe figure out if we want to add any of the gold itself. But so to start with, you need some 11/0 copper check glass beads. Here's my John bead. These are my 11/0. It says dark gold metallic Sojel. This is really light, so I'm not sure if that was just an error in the label. I'll have to double check that. These are my Swarovski crystals. We need 6 of these. We're going to use this to bezel the rivoli. And this is like one of my favorite colors. And look at the color name, sunflower. I think they named it perfectly. Look at how gorgeous they are. Unbelievable. The light coming off them is just ridiculous. So, and one more. And these look like they have an AB on one of the sides. You don't really see it until you start flipping it around. So let's put those aside. You're going to need a 14 millimeter rivoli, a bail whatever kind of, and the finishing part, you can decide what you want to do. I just decided to do added a loop of seed beads around a pearl and added a wire guardian, then a jump ring and the bail. And that's just to get the orientation right. And I feel like I'd like something here, maybe a crystal instead of the jump ring. But this turned out so nice. And I did it differently on the back. I actually started doing this video a couple of times, and annoyingly, the back of the initial design was a star, and the beads I used were slightly larger, and this area here was so loose. And no matter what I did, I was like, okay, I don't like the star anyway, but so this turned out pretty nice. So I'll show you how to do this one. This one's so easy. You can do it for bezeling anything. It's just amazing. So back to the supplies. Squirrel. So jump ring, French wire guardian, your bail. We'll put that aside. That's kind of the finishing part. You're going to need some Superduos for the petals. And this one I had pink. This one is called Mat Jonquille, and these are lovely. That's because we have 6 flowers, pretty easy to get the total. You're going to need 30 of these. So we can actually put these out. Oh, you know what I noticed too? I think this tube has a mix of 2 colors. You see, it's almost, yeah, that's annoying. I might just not count them, and we'll pick the ones as we go through. But you don't need a lot is what I'm getting at. If you have like a bottle of open Superduos, as long as you have 30, you're good. You're also going to need 6mm pearls for the part of the flower, the middle part, and you only need 6 of those. And these are, again, I'm going into my Swarovski stash. You know what? It's so exciting. For years now, I've been hoarding them, and it's a wonderful feeling. I look at the colors and I'm like, oh, I only have a little bag of those, and I'm like, use them. So, iridescent green, unbelievable. Here, let me pick one up with the needle. They have like a goldy color to it as well, and then this incredible green on the edge and an orangey in the middle, and it's lovely. So put that aside. You're going to need your bead thread. I'm using John Bead Good Thread, and I just love it. I'll show you how to dye it. So let's take a wingspan. I don't think that was quite a wingspan. So you're going to need your scissors, and I'm using a size 12 needle. Let's just put that there. Size 12 needle. You can use a size 10. You know what? I think maybe a size 12, it starts to get a little sticky going through the little spaces here. So yeah, I think you better stick with the size 12. I'm just moving this up here for a sec. And let's get these guys out. And we'll dye the thread. Let's put that there. So to dye your thread, well, where's my yellow marker? I have a project tray that I'm working on, beaded rope for these pendants, and that's where maybe I need a second one. Just move that over. And I'm using this little piece of cardboard. It's great because it's easier to hold your thread down on the cardboard, and because you're holding the marker there for a while, it bleeds into the cardboard. If you're using a piece of paper, you might go through your paper onto your mat or whatever you're working on. So that should be good enough. You can go over it a second time to get it darker if you want. But I find just a hint of the color on the thread is enough to conceal it. And that's why I'm doing it. So you can hide your thread. So let's get started. So the good thread's really easy to thread. I think I've had a few questions about it. People were concerned that it was thicker, the thread, so it was hard to thread, but it definitely, I find it actually easier than Fireline and stuff like that. So let's start with our crystals. We're going to bezel the rivoli right away. And we're going to start with picking up 3 11-0 check glass seed beads and a crystal. And do that until you have all your crystals on there. So pick up another 3 11-0s, a crystal, 3 11-0s, a crystal, 3 11-0s, a crystal, 3 11-0s, a crystal, and 3 11-0s, and your last crystal. That. So this is what you have. And I'm going to enlarge this now. Set that. They're so pretty. Okay, so take those down to the bottom. We're going to make a loop and tie these into a knot. Bring that around. And make another knot. And I like to do 3 knots. If you worried about clogging the holes of the beads, then definitely just do 2. But just make sure it's not going to move. There we go. Okay, cut that tail off. That. And I'm going to slide through the crystal and pull that knot through just to get it out of get the tail end out of there. We can actually go through everything a second time as well. Pull that through and just slide that in there. They're so pretty together, those colors, wow. Go through a few of these at the same time. There. That's better. This is a really easy way to bezel as well, which is really nice. I think we're coming to the one, yeah, so I can feel tight. So I'm just going to push my needle to the side to go past that knot. Try not to go through the knot. That will be very sad. Okay, so make sure you're coming out of 3 of the 11 I have done it where I've come out of the bicone and then circled back. I didn't like it, left a little bit of a space, so I didn't really care for that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add 5 11-ohs on each crystal. So you're on the one side of the crystal, pick up 5 11-ohs, go to the other side of the crystal, and just go through the 11-ohs like that. Like that. And we're going to do that all the way around. So pick up 5 11-ohs. Those 2 in the middle look, that one there looks pretty tiny. You get the odd one like that. Okay, there's 5. So you're coming out of this side here. We're going to go to the other side and go through the 11-ohs. And you can use your nail to kind of poke it forward so you can easily access the bead hole. Pick up another 5 11-ohs. Like that. Go to the other side of the crystal, go through the 11-ohs. I'm going to move the camera down a bit. I feel like I'm reaching. My back is doing better, but now I have a bunch of exercises to do. And it's so funny. Usually the physio exercises they give you are pretty, I guess they're very, they're meant to work on very specific muscles. And so it seems like it's not a lot of hard work, but once you do them, you're like, oh my gosh. First of all, I couldn't believe how weak the muscles were for that leg. This is looking amazing just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I did a gym workout and I added all the exercises that the physiotherapist gave me. The next morning when I got up, I could barely move. I'm like, okay, maybe I went a little too hard. Okay, this is the last set of 5 in this section. So you're on this side of the crystal. You're going to go to the other side. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go through the first 3 that are in between the 2 crystals, but you're going to go past that kind of on an angle. Just move your work. Go past 3 beads. And what you're doing, that didn't go through. What you're doing is you're picking up the middle bead. So like that. So now we're ready to put some beads in between each of these. So we're going to pick up, I think it was 5. Let me make sure. Oh no, actually I only did 3. Yeah. That's how easy this is. I can't believe. I don't know why I haven't been doing this more often. You know what I think? When I first started beading about 5 years ago, I did a bunch of bezels and it was like I didn't know what I was doing, so I kind of was like I would follow a video and do it. It's like, oh, that's great. And then if I needed to redo something like a bezel like this, I'd have to go back to the video. Now I look at it, I'm like, that's so simple. Why didn't I know that? Okay, so we went through the middle bead of those 5. So now we're going to pick up 3 beads, and coming from this one, we're going to go to this one here. So you're always going to the middle bead, and that's going to, when we pull it in and put the crystal in, it will draw it in and hold it tight. It looks like it's like not enough beads, but I think I started with 4 and moved down to 3. So I'll pick up 3, go to the next middle bead in that crystal, pick up 3, go to the next middle one. Excuse me. Pick up 3, go to the next middle one here. And this is our last one. There's the thread's just twisted on itself. There we go. Pick up 3, go through the middle one, and you can go through the next set of 3, but I'm just going to do this for now. We're going to add so you can just hang on to it and pull it a bit, flip it over, take your rivoli and put it in upside down, and I just hold it down with my finger and pull the thread. It is a bit kind of finicky getting it because your rivoli is sitting on the crystals. I did it that way because I want more of my rivoli showing, and in other examples, the crystals were in the middle of the rivoli. So get it as tight as you can, like that. I'm just gonna hang on to that. And now I'm gonna go through just the set of 3 plus the corner bead, go around a second time to get more tension, like that. This one give me a little bit of trouble here. Let's keep going around. Okay. Go through the 3 plus the corner ones. And what we're going to do after this, we're going to go around one more time, but the next time we're going to go around, we're going to skip the corner beads. You could do it on the first pass, but I find it gets a little tighter this way. Like that. Pull that there. Come back through here. And go through. So this one, isn't that amazing? It's so worth it. So you can see it's getting nicely snug. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the 3 beads, and that will pull it in even tighter. So I'm skipping this corner bead that's coming off of your crystal. So go through the next 3 beads like that. Pull it down. Skip this corner bead or your middle bead from your crystal. Let me just hold this differently here. That. And pull it in. Go to the next 3 that are in between that. Okay. Go through the next 3. That. Go through the next 3. Okay. Pull it in a bit. That's lovely, nice and snug. Okay, we're going to skip that bead. And this is the last one. You can kind of see the thread there. So we know we've gone all the way around. So now I am going to pass through that corner bead because we're going to work our way up to the front. Okay, so you can make that a little tighter there, like that. And make your way up to the front. And I'm trying to think which one do I want to come out of. I'm just going to pass through a few beads just to kind of lock in to the front. Wow, this turned out nice. What? Okay, so now we are going to work on our, I'm going to move those light ones out. I think what it was, these beads, they were 2 different, like, lots of beads. Because I can see the difference in the color, some of them. Okay, so we just need, start with, put 5 out. Okay. And we're going to pass, we have to be coming out of the seed beads. I mean, you can do it a couple of ways, but I'm going to show you this way. This is a little bit complicated. And I did play with it a bit to try and get it simplified for you. But let's see, now I have it super tight here. There we go. Okay, so we're coming out of the set of 3 beads. We're going to pick up a Superduo. I'm going to draw it down next to the 11-0, and I'm going to step down to the lower hole. So bring your needle down like that. Now you could essentially create these flowers on their own and then attach them. But if you're like me and you do a lot of bead weaving, I like to get my needle in there and move it across and not have to cut and attach and, create knots and stuff like that. So that's why I have it that way. So now you're going to pick up the rest of the petals that you need, the next 3, because there's going to be another petal on this side of this Superduo. Okay, so you're going to pick up 3 of these. Then you're going to pick up 2, and I'll show them to you in a sec here. 2 11-Os, a pearl, 2 11-Os, and your last Superduo. So this is what you're going to pick up. Let me bring this down here. And this is going to change from side to side depending on where your needle is coming out of. So we'll just start with, we've got our Superduo. We've gone through and stepped down to the lower hole. So we're coming in the other direction. So this is going to, just so you have an idea what it looks like. Those are going to sit like that. Put that there. This is going to come back around on this side here. And this doesn't look right here. Yeah, I guess we can step up. So you got your 2 11-Os, your 6mm pearl, your 2 11-Os, and your final petal of the flower. You're going to step up on this one. I think that's what's different here. So just go through. And I'm just going to hold on to it so you can see them there. Okay. No, this is not right. Not right, Emma. Just I'm going to come back out here. I think this would work if we just did it this way. Turn that there. Okay. So we've got that bead on that side. We're going to go down through this lower hole. And we're actually going to pass through all the lower holes, or the holes that we're already in. So there, it should sit like that. This is probably the more complex one because you don't have anything else to attach your beads to. So you're having to attach it to that 3rd bead, which is not really the beginning of this pattern. So I apologize for that. I tried to get it a little simpler. We will be repeating this step in further ones, so I will be able to explain it a little better. So that's what it should look like. We're going to go back through your 6mm pearl and your 2 11-Os. And pull that up snug like this. Okay. So now we want to attach the rest of the petals to your bezel. So, and we don't want to see our thread. We're going to pick up 2 11-Os. So our thread is coming out of these 2 11-Os. We're going to pick up 2 and go through the top hole of the first petal. And you can pull it snug like that. Now you're going to pick up, we're going to put an 11-O in between here. Like that. We're going to be coming back to that one. That's going to help us attach the rest of the flowers. So now you can see the thread. It's a bit loose there, not a big deal, because we're going to go through these beads now. So we're going to go through the first one, and just the first one here. There, like that. Pull that through. And that will snug it up a little better. So we're coming out of that first 11-0. We're going to go down to this next petal. Let me move this way. Through the top hole of that petal. I'm sorry. I knew when I was doing this that there's a lot of hand movements in it, and I'm like, oh, this is not going to translate well into a video. So we went through this first bead, went through. This is essentially your middle petal. So you can see what I'm attempting is to get it lined up with that middle bead. So we've gone through that. So now we're going to go to the other side of that bead. We are going to come through the third bead here. And just that bead. It's going to want to go through the crystal, I'm sure. Wowzer. There we go. Pull that through. And it should sit on top there like that. Now go through the next bead, the top hole of the petal, and we're going to put an 11-0 here between these two last Superduos. And pull that in. We need 2 beads to cover the thread. We're going to step down and go through these 11-0s. That. Move that over. There we go. Oh, this is going to look amazing. It's definitely worth it. So go through the pearl. That's okay. We went through the first copper bead. We're going to go through the rest of the beads because we're going to make a second round on the top petals holes because we're going to add some more beads in there. Oh, this is lovely. Okay, so go through the Superduo, the first Superduo. You're going to go through this copper bead. Now, we are going to add 3 beads to this, and we're going to go back through that, creating a little bit of a diamond shape. And that's what's going to attach each flower to each other around the sides. So you see the little kind of diamond shape. So now go through the next petal. And push that up. Now we're going to put an 11-0 in between the seed beads here, or the Superduos. So one there, one through the next one. So pick up an 11-0, go through this one here. And you can pass through the next copper bead. And we're going to make a little diamond shape again. So pick up 3 beads, that, and come to the other side of this bead. So your thread's coming out of this side. We're going to go through this one. And we can actually pass through the next Superduo and copper bead, if it'll go through like that. And now you have that set on that side when we're ready to attach everything. So go through these. We're going to make our way to the other side, and we're going to start on the next flower. Okay, go through your pearl. It's really not that tight. It's just the bead is sitting on an angle. There we go. And I'm going to untwist my thread a bit. Okay, so continue, go through these 11-0s here. These 11-0s might be tinier than the ones I was using because they were not this tight. Go through the next one and then go through the Superduo and I'm just checking to make sure it's in focus. Go through the next copper bead. Make your way around so that you're coming out of this corner bead here. So we have to go through the next 2 copper beads like this. Okay. So now we're going to make another one of these flowers. And like I said, it's basically kind of the same thing, but you do have to remember, if you're coming out of the one side of this bead, it's going to change your order of your beads. So let's start with one Superduo. Because if you look at this one here, this flower here, this little diamond shape is always in between 2 Superduos at the edge. So this will be the outside edge. So now we have to go through the other hole, the bottom hole, so we can attach the rest of them. There, like that. So pick up 4, because you've already got one. So there's 4. You're going to pick up 2 copper beads, a 6mm pearl, 2 copper beads. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so you have your first Superduo there. Then you have 4 more Superduos to make 5, 2 11-0s, a 6mm, 2 11-0s. We are going to loop this I may put it on backwards. Yeah, there. So this is basically the loop that you're going to make. So you're going to come back to the first one, to the lower hole, and you're going to go through all of them again. Like that. So you're still in the lower holes. And that's what that's going to look like. It's a bit loose. We will get it a little tighter. There. I'm going to go through my copper beads and my 6mm pearl. Go through the copper beads here. Let me just... There. Pick up two 11-0 copper beads. And we're going to make our way into the upper hole of the first Superduo. And you can go through the corner bead of this little diamond shape. This will be the first attachment. Like that. Go through the next Superduo. There. And now we're going to attach these ones to the 3 beads on the bezel. So go through the first of the 3 copper beads. There. So you're coming out of the first copper bead on the bezel. You're going to go through the middle Superduo upper hole. So it's like the third one or the middle one. So this is trying to center them as well. Then go through the third copper bead on the bezel. Let's see if I can get it in this way. There we go. That and like that. Then go through the next Superduo. So that's the second to last one, the top hole. We're going to add a copper bead in between the last 2 here of the Superduos. Like that. Pick up 2 copper beads, 11-0s, and you're going to go through these 2 beads here. That. Put that in. And these are going to kind of push them on top of the bezel. Okay, go through your 6mm pearl. Now I went through the first copper bead there. You're going to go through the rest of the copper beads. That. Now we're going to go through the Superduo, the copper bead, the next Superduo. You're going to make your way around that flower. So this Superduo as well. Oh, I don't like when it does that. I think it went under that thread. Let me see. Yeah. So be careful. if it goes under that thread, we're going to add a seed bead there. I don't want it, I don't want the thread coming up. So let's just see if I can get this through. There we go. Now we're going to put a copper bead here, and it will conceal those threads. So first copper bead, go through the next Superduo, pick up another copper bead, go through the next Superduo, and you can go through the next copper bead as well. That. And now we're back to this bead here, which is our connection. So we're going to add 3 beads to make that little diamond shape and attach the next set of beads. So does that look simple? I'm really sorry. I tried hard to make it simple. I think I know I enjoy the complexity. So I apologize ahead of time. And my glasses keep sliding. Okay, so now we're coming out of this bead here. We need to be in this one here. So we're just going to go through the next copper one and through that one there. And you just keep making your way around. So now we're going to pick up a Superduo. We're going to step down to the lower hole. Okay. Now, if you remember, there's going to be a Superduo on each side of this bead here. So we need a Superduo. Okay. So that's going to sit like this. And then we're going to need our copper beads, our pearl, and the rest of our Superduos. So 2 11-0 copper beads, a pearl, 2 copper beads, that, and we're going to need 3 Superduos, like that. So let me show you what you have for this one. So this is what I mean. It's slightly different each time, but if you think about the circle looking like this, we only have 4 beads. We need a 5th one. Oh, the 5th one's up here. Let me put that like that. So you got to remember that's what it's going to look like. But because we're coming out of the other side of this bead, it changes which bead is first on there. So now go through all your beads again, the same holes. You don't have to worry about stepping up yet. Just bring it together so that you can see that looped flower look. Go through the Superduos, through the coppers, through the pearl, through the coppers, through the Superduos. And you can start to snug it up. So I'm going to go through all of these again. Go through the Superduo, like that. I'm going to step up here, so I'm going to pick up 2 copper beads to hide my thread. I'm going to go to the top bead, or top hole of the first Superduo, go through the copper bead, that, go through the next Superduo, that, and now we're going to attach to the first bead on the bezel, like that. Okay. Then go through the next Superduo. Then go through the next bead so that it's attached. And this is the one that's a little bit tight. And bring your thread around. There. And go through the next Superduo. That. Pick up an 11/0 copper bead in between the two Superduos on the end here. Just squish them forward. Now we need 2 copper beads. We're going to go through. I'm just going to flip this, might be easier to handle. Go through the 2 11/0s that are coming out of the bottom hole. Let me go through here. Like that. Okay. Go through the pearl. Go through all the copper beads. So the kind of is staggered a bit because we put them in separately, but then when you go through them like this, they kind of line up. And then when we go, there's a gap between each set. We're going to put that tiny little 3mm crystal in there, and it will straighten them out even more. Okay, now go through your Superduo and your copper bead that's in between those 2 Superduos. That. There. Wow, this one's turning out so much nicer than I thought. What? That's amazing. I'm a little annoyed. I can see the threads. Maybe I just didn't. Oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be great. Okay, go through the Superduo. Had a little bit of a brain freeze there. A Swarovski brain freeze. I get so excited. If you haven't seen some of my older Swarovski unboxings, there's some where I'm like, oh, I'm getting lightheaded. I seriously was hyperventilating. I was so excited. They were so beautiful. So look at how lovely that's coming along. So we'll keep going. So this one here is our second to last copper bead, our last copper bead. This is the attachment one, so we need to put 3 beads on there is what I'm getting at. So you go from your threads coming out on the right side, go on the left side of the bead, creating a loop. That with your 3 beads. And now you have your little shape. So now we're going to go to the next section. So to do that, we need to be in this corner bead. So we're going to go through the first First one on the side and then the next one. It's getting loose, no big deal. We're going to tighten that. Just there like that. And to tighten, you always go in the way the thread is heading. So try and go that way rather than pull away from your work. Okay, so now we need these ones look light to me. There's like a slight darker tint to the ones I'm talking about. It's like, and you should check your holes. I did. I was putting one together and I couldn't believe it. I had to take it all apart. And I tried to like open up the hole. Didn't work. Okay, so put your first bead on. If you're not like if you don't quite understand which bead and which hole, and if you have to, step down, just position it in the position that it should be. So if your thread's coming out of the left side of this corner bead, that means this is your second bead. You actually need another Superduo here, which means then I have to turn around. So go through the bottom hole. And now if you had your beads ready to go, you'd realize, okay, this is the second one. I need the first one right here. So pick up the next bead and just think about the order of your beads. You can look at your other ones that you've just completed. So now that's my 2 beads here. I'm coming out of this hole here. I need 2 copper beads, a 6mm, 2 copper beads, and then my 3 beads. So let's pick up 2 11/0 copper beads. A 6mm pearl, 2 copper beads, and 3 Superduos. I just saw one Superduo that doesn't have a hole. It's a very tiny hole. Put that aside. Okay, pull those all together. And you're always going to come back to the first bead, the first Superduo that you put on. That's going to complete your loop. Like that. Okay, so I'm now going to go around everything again. So just hang on to it with your thumb and index finger, like that. Go through everything again. There. Go back around. And remember that your Superduos don't sit exactly side by side. They sit on an angle. So you might have to go through a few of them at a time. And I've got too many beads on there. I did that the last time. I put 4 instead of 3. Okay, so let's go back out here. I get so excited. Just back out. I think I poked my thread. Okay, let's take it off the needle. I'll tell you that I'm sure you've done this before. I never learn, but I tend to do this in a video because I'm like, okay, well, I'll just do it quickly. But if you poke your thread, like it's actually created a knot. It's really hard to back out. Let's see if I can do this. Just try and pull it. I can feel the tightness in the going through here. Okay. Just take one off at the end. One of the Superduos. Rethread. Emergency averted. Let me get that smoothed out a bit. Oh. Okay. So you see how this is where we came out of this corner bead and it's loose. No big deal. Just hang on to the bead and your thread and push it down. Be a little snug, but that's fine. Okay. It's just so we're going to go through this. We can go through both if we can. Go through the first Superduo that we added, creating your loop. You see it gets loose again, so just hang on to everything and pull your thread tight and it should pop it back into place. Okay, now we'll go through these guys. So go back through everything. Okay. Now I'm going to go through the 2 copper beads. Make sure it's snug. Pick up two more copper beads, and this time we're going to go through the top hole of the first Superduo. That we're going to pick up 1 copper bead, go through the next Superduo. Now we're going to go through the first bead on the bezel. That's going to snug that up there. Go through the next Superduo and the last copper bead. Pull that through, and that will slide those guys in place. Go through the next Superduo, which is like the second last one. Go through just the 1 copper bead. That. Go through the next Superduo. And we can kind of set those on top, kind of hold them in place, and then pull. And that should get those guys in there nicely. Pick up 2 copper beads. Go through the next 2 copper beads. And you can go through your pearl if you can manage it. Pull it snug again. Up top. Go through the next copper bead, through the pearl, and through all the copper beads on this side of the pearl. Go through your copper bead, Superduo copper bead, I'm going to create that loop. So pick up 3 copper beads, go through the other side of that copper bead, come out through the Superduo, and just nudge them in place like that. Now we're going to put copper beads in here to hide that thread. Go through the Superduo. Next Superduo, copper bead. Go through the next copper bead. Oh, this is turning out amazing. Okay, go through the Superduo. Make your way to the other side of your work of that specific flower. Go through all the copper beads. If you can manage it in one movement. Takes a bit of finagling here. Yeah, I think I'm going to go through in 2 steps. I don't know why it's so tight. I'm going to go through them separately. And through these guys. Go through the copper bead. Follow your thread path. So we're going through the Superduo, through the copper bead, and we're going to make our way around to this corner bead. Go through these 2. Just move that one. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to pick up, move that one. There's 5. Hopefully that way I won't mistakenly pick up too many. Pick up your Superduo. Remember what I said? What side your thread is coming out of on this bead here will determine the order of your loop. So of course it's on the right side. The last one was on the left. If you take a look at this will be the final Superduo. So we actually want to step down because we're in the top hole. So step down. So we've changed directions. So now we can pick up the rest of the Superduos. So pick up all 4 to complete your 5 Superduos per flower. That. Okay, there's our flowers. You're going to pick up 2 copper beads, 11 O's, a 6mm pearl, 2 copper beads. We're going to come back to that lower hole of that first Superduo right there. And we're going to go through everything again. So this one makes it easier. They're kind of sitting on your hand nicely. And let's pull everything through. And there's our lovely flower. Go through the copper beads, through the pearl, and you're pulling it snug each time and kind of aligning those petals in the correct orientation, like that. There. Now we're going to go through the 2 copper beads. We're going to put 2 copper beads here. So that's our set of 2. We're going to go to the upper hole. We're going to go through the upper hole of the first Superduo. We're going to go through the copper bead next to it. Go through the next Superduo, the top hole. Let's flip that over there. Okay, like that. Don't have to worry, it's not tight. It's going to get tight fast enough. Go through the first 11-0 on your bezel that's in that position to accept those beads. And just like they get scrambled here. Yeah, my thread got twisted around. Let me just unhook this. Oh, there it is. There we go. Now we need that middle bead that's hiding. Come back here. Go through the top hole of that Superduo. Like that. Go through the last of the 3 beads on the bezel. Get that in there. That. Make sure it doesn't get hooked. And slide those forward a bit. Pull it in. Now go through the next Superduo, the top hole. That. Pick up a copper bead. Go through the next Superduo. And there. Now we're going to put 2 copper beads. We're going to go through the other copper beads next to them. That. And just get those sitting properly. There, nice and tight. Go through your 6mm pearl. I'm very excited. Let me tell you, I may not sound it. I've been doing videos lately over and over. So we're just making our way. We're going to add the 2 beads to cover up the thread. Yeah, I've been doing all kinds of videos for you guys. And I'll get halfway through and then something's not right or, yeah, just so this is exciting, even though this is really complex. The more I look at it, because I like to hold everything the same way so you could see it, and I'm just struggling to get through it to show you. So pick up the next bead. Some people might not have any problem following, but if you're new to beading, this might be really over the top. I hope not, because it's so beautiful. It's gorgeous. Okay, now we're going to create that little triangle shape. I'm trying to untwist my what's left of my thread. Okay, so pick up 3, 11-0. Coming out of this side, we're going to go to the other side of that bead, creating that little kind of diamond shape. We're going to go through the first 2 beads so that we're on the corner bead. Pull that in. Okay, so now we need a Superduo. Let me grab my next 4 Superduos. My pearl. Okay, again, like I said, this is now we're coming out of the other side of that corner bead. So the last one we were on this side, so we had our last Superduo. This is actually our second to last Superduo. So that will determine the order of what you put on. So we're going to go from the top hole to the lower hole, like that. Pick up your next, essentially your last Superduo on this side, because it's going to sit like this. So that should make sense now. Pick up 2 copper beads, your pearl, and 2 copper beads, and your last 3 Superduos. And you always come back to the first one you added, but make sure you come back to the lower hole. And just like that. Go through this last Superduo, through the copper beads. You can pull it snug. You get the flower shape. And go through your pearl. Again, you keep adjusting and pulling your tension. There. Go through the 2 copper beads. We are going to pick up 2 copper beads and go through the top hole of the first Superduo, like that. And we have our pattern that's already there. This is going to be a bit snug. Let me untwist this. It's getting silly. Okay, so there's your diamond pattern. Go through, since we're coming up this on the left, we're going to go through the right side of that bead. Pull it in. Pick up the next. My finger is getting stuck. Go through the next Superduo. That. Now we're going to go through the first copper bead on the bezel. There. There. Go through the top hole of your middle Superduo. And go through the final hole, the final copper bead of the copper bead that's on the, wow, that was really sticky, on your bezel there. Pull that in, scrunch it in. Okay, go through the next top hole of your Superduo. Go through the copper bead. Go through the Superduo. That. We need 2 copper beads here. So pick those up and go through. Go through the next copper beads. There. Okay, we're going to pull these tight. I'm going to move those up a bit. Hold them there, and that will tighten all these guys here. There we go. Go through, because we still have to put 2 copper beads. We're just at the end of our thread. That'll just work out. Go through, make your way over to those Superduos. There. Go through the Superduo. We need, let's see if I can find a bigger one. There's a big one. This should be up on top, but and your last copper bead, like this. Go through the other copper bead, that. Go through your Superduo, and I am going to get rid of my thread. We'll get a fresh piece to attach the crystals. Let's go through these. Okay, I'm gonna grab a thread bridge here. And just loop that around my needle once. Hold that in there and tighten that. And go through these guys. Take that off. I can't believe we did it. So it is a bit like, it's not going to lay flat. So if you want your work to lay flat, what you could do is just have one single bead across those 2. You might have to put 2 beads there instead of that 4 piece. I think that's all it would take, but you know what? It still looks lovely. So I do have a piece of thread here that's from another project I was working on. So let me get that threaded. And we'll finish this up. I cannot see. Okay. I'm just going to cut some of this off. It's got the white that I didn't cover. Okay. think, where should I put my thread? Let's go in here. This is not really structural, so I don't have to worry too much. Let's bring that to about there. And thread bridge. And pull that through. So now there's the separation in between the flowers. So actually these don't, it's not as clear where the separation is, but once we put the crystal in there, and it's such a tiny crystal, it will straighten it out a bit. Go through. So go through your, let me cut this off here. Oh, I didn't cut that all the way. Okay. Okay, so there's the space in between the flowers. That's what you're looking for. So just pick up your 3mm crystal. If you don't have a 3mm crystal, you can use an 8O bead or any nice little crystal you have. So now I'm just going to go through the rest of the beads. These are, oh, I'm surprised how hard they're. I think I'm getting tired too, so I apologize. Just fast forward if you've gotten to this step. I don't know about you, but when I'm watching videos, I fast forward. There's the first one. So I'll go through the next sets. Yeah, it must be because I'm tired, because normally this is like the fastest step of all. There we go. Yeah, an hour and a half. I knew this video was going to be long. And when I've done 2-part videos, people have said, oh, it's fine, I like it. And then every once in a while, and it's usually like years later, I get people commenting, where's the other video? And they're upset. How am I supposed to finish it? I don't know. Like, maybe if you subscribe to my channel, you'd know that there's a video that comes after the one you just watched. I don't know if they're just watching them randomly. Okay, so we'll just keep going around, adding your crystal in between your sets of flowers. Okay, another crystal. Okay. Through the pearl. I've seen some really pretty sunflower designs that they start with a bezel and attach dagger beads for the petals. What is going on with this bead? It's you know what I think it is? The orientation of these beads are just whack. There. Okay. This is going to be a 2-hour video. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever done a 2-hour video. But it's worth it. And you see how this one is kind of angled on the side? You could probably angle them all the way around if you wanted to. I don't think I'm done with this design. I will be kind of tweaking it. So if you're really liking the design, the way it looks, but you're concerned about some of the elements, stay tuned. I'm never done. I'm always fixing stuff. Get my pliers here. I twisted that. There we go. I was getting so excited I was going to add the last crystal. Too soon. And I can't see. My glasses are falling off my face. It's time to, I get them to put new nose pieces. I get my glasses at Walmart and I just show up and I'm like, yeah, these keep sliding off my face. They're defective. So they always put new nose pads on. Oh my god. These beads. Oh, I see the thread is twisted. This is the last one. Crystal. And through there. So I just take it and smush it down a bit. and the pearls will pop into as well. Okay, so we're going to add our beads to go around and put our wire guardian. So let's just need 6 beads. 6 like that. And we're going to loop through the pearl. Just move this. There we go. That. Go up. I think I put 7 on the last time, but go up through 3. No, go up through 2 beads. Like that. Then add your wire guard. So go through that hole and loop around to the other side. Go through the other hole. Bring those. Skip 2 beads and go through the next 2 beads. We're going to loop back into the pearl and come back, doing it a second time. Like that. Go through the pearl. That. Let's just adjust that a bit to the middle. Okay, go up through 2 beads. And if you can go through the channel on the wire guardian. Like that. And over through the channel. And go through the last 2 beads. Go through the pearl. Actually, what I might do is go through these beads and tie off. There, like that. I probably could have put an extra bead on each side. I'm going to pick up a thread bridge, wrap my thread around the needle, and then hold that down, pull it through, and then I'm going to go through these guys. There. Okay, cut this off. I'm going to take my needle off. Just a little hint, if you have cats, always take your thread off of your needles because they like thread. Little danger zone. Okay, so let's put this together. So exciting. Get my jump ring and open that up a bit. Pop that on the jump ring. And take your bail and put that on. Close this up. There. And there you have it. It's ready to go. Let's take the gold strand, the necklace, and put that on. Ta-da. There we have it. Thank you for joining me. There's the back, so it's kind of nice on the back too. Hope you enjoyed that, and I appreciate you hanging out for that long, but it's worth it. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.